Scotland, fascinating facts and curiosities of the Northern Kingdom. Scotland, with its mystical history and breathtaking landscapes, is one of those places that, no matter how many times you have visited or studied it, always has something new to surprise you. From the legendary castles that hold secrets of ancient battles, to the vast landscapes of the Highlands, to its deep-rooted traditions such as whiskey and bagpipes, Scotland is a country that arouses fascination in every corner. But beyond its monuments and landscapes, Scotland has a rich and deep culture that has been shaped over centuries, full of curiosities, myths, and traditions that still persist strongly today. Did you know that Scotland has more than 2,000 castles, but that many of them are barely known outside the country? Or that the famous Loch Ness beast could be just one of many mythological creatures that inhabit Scottish legends? If you've ever dreamed of traveling to this incredible place or simply wondered what makes Scotland so special, stay with us. This video is full of curious facts that will make you see this country from a whole new perspective. Do you dare to discover all the secrets that Scotland hides? Keep watching and answer in the comments which of these curiosities surprised you the most. One of the first details that usually surprise visitors to Scotland is its incredible diversity of landscapes. Scotland's geography is so varied that in a single day you can experience lush forests, rugged coastlines, towering mountains, and tranquil lochs surrounded by rolling hills. The Highlands are world-renowned for their wild beauty and mystical atmosphere. These mountains look like something out of a fairy tale, and it is not uncommon to see them shrouded in mist, adding to the aura of mystery that surrounds the region. Scotland is not only famous for its nature, but also for its rich history and vibrant culture. The history of this country is full of great battles, ancient clans, and legendary figures that have left an indelible mark on the world. From King Macbeth, immortalized by William Shakespeare, to William Wallace, whose fight for independence became a symbol of resistance, Scotland is a land of heroes and martyrs. The struggle for independence has been a constant in Scottish history, and although today Scotland is part of the United Kingdom, the desire for autonomy is still alive in many of its people. One of the most fascinating aspects of Scotland is its relationship with whiskey, which has a history dating back centuries. Scotch whiskey is considered one of the best in the world and is produced in several regions of the country, each with its own particular characteristics. Scotch whiskey distilleries are distributed throughout the nation, with more than 200 currently operating. The whiskey distilling process in Scotland is an art that has been perfected over generations, and the passion the Scots have for their whiskey runs deep. Moreover, whiskey is not only an alcoholic beverage, but a cultural symbol of Scotland, as representative as the tartan or bagpipes. And speaking of tartan, you can't talk about Scotland without mentioning this checkered cloth that represents both national identity and membership of different clans. Tartan has a great historical importance in Scotland, as each clan has its own tartan pattern. Although in ancient times it was mainly used to differentiate different tribal groups, today tartan remains a symbol of Scottish pride. It is common to see men and women wearing kilts, the traditional Scottish attire, at weddings, festivals, and other special events. In addition to its rich tradition and fashion, Scotland has a vast literary heritage. Great Scottish writers have given the world some of the most celebrated works of literature, Sir Walter Scott being one of the most famous. Born in Edinburgh, Scott was a writer, poet, and historian whose works on Scottish history are read and studied all over the world. His novel Ivanhoe has been adapted numerous times for the cinema, and his figure is still revered in Scotland. Scotland is also the birthplace of one of the most important inventions in the history of science, the DNA theory. Sir Alexander Fleming, the Scottish scientist who discovered penicillin, is another key figure in the country's history. Thanks to his discovery, millions of lives have been saved around the world. Scotland has been a hotbed of scientific innovation, especially in the fields of medicine and biotechnology, and has produced more Nobel laureates than many much larger countries. In addition, renewable energy engineering and sciences are very much in evidence today, with Scotland leading the way in terms of wind power and other sustainable sources. Scottish art, from painting to music, has also been hugely influential. Scotland has produced some of the world's most renowned musicians, such as the legendary guitarist of the Rolling Stones, Jimmy Page, and the famous classical music composer, Sir James Macmillan. The bagpipes are undoubtedly the most representative instrument of Scottish music. Its deep and resonant sound has accompanied thousands of celebrations and ceremonies over the years. The famous Highland Games, competitions that include log throwing and other tests of strength, are also an integral part of the Scottish cultural tradition. Scotland is not only known for its history and culture, but also for its people. The Scots are famous for their hospitality and unique sense of humor. Despite their reputation for being reserved, the Scots are extremely friendly to visitors and are proud to share their history and traditions with others. The warmth of their welcome makes every visitor feel at home. One of the most unique features of Scotland is its castles, which look like something out of a medieval novel. With more than 2,000 castles scattered throughout the country, Scotland is a land of impressive fortifications. Some of the most famous castles, such as Edinburgh Castle and Stirling Castle, bear witness to the nation's most important historical events, including clashes between the Scots and the English. These castles are not only historical monuments, but also places of legend, such as Donan Castle, famous for its appearances in films like The Highlander. Despite its relatively small size, Scotland has a population of over 5,400,000 inhabitants. Its capital, Edinburgh, is one of the oldest cities in Europe, and its medieval and Georgian architecture attracts millions of tourists each year. The city is known for its arts festival, the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, the world's largest arts festival, which brings together artists from around the globe during the summer. This celebration of art and creativity has transformed Edinburgh into a world-class cultural center. Scottish politics is also an interesting topic. Although Scotland is part of the United Kingdom, it has its own parliament, which has powers over a variety of issues, including education, health, and transportation. The question of Scottish independence has been a recurring theme in recent years, with a referendum in 2014 resulting in a victory for those wishing to remain in the UK, but the discussion remains relevant in Scottish politics. In short, Scotland is a place full of history, culture, natural beauty, and a unique identity that is proudly celebrated in every corner of the country. From the legendary Highlands to the streets of Edinburgh, Scotland is a destination that offers much more than visitors could ever imagine. With its fascinating blend of ancient and modern, Scotland remains one of the most enigmatic and enchanting nations in the world. And if you ever get the chance to visit, don't hesitate to let yourself be enveloped by its magic, its people, and its endless curiosities. Scotland is, without a doubt, a place that leaves an indelible mark on those who discover it. Scotland, with its millenary history, is not only a country of breathtaking landscapes and legends, but also a place where culture and customs have been forged over the centuries. One of the most fascinating traditions is the Ceilidh, the traditional Scottish festivities that combine music, dance, and a large dose of camaraderie. These often informal events are celebrated throughout Scotland, especially in rural areas. The dancing at Ceilidhs is lively and energetic, and the tunes of the bagpipes and accordion set the pace. Although Ceilidhs were originally social gatherings between families and community members, today they are a popular form of entertainment at festivals and celebrations, where Scots and visitors can enjoy an evening filled with traditional music and dancing. In terms of gastronomy, one of Scotland's most emblematic dishes is haggis. This dish is well known outside the country, but within Scotland it has a deep meaning, especially when served at the Burns Supper, an annual dinner dedicated to Robert Burns. The haggis, which is prepared with lamb offal, onions, oats, and spices, is cooked in the animal's stomach, and although its appearance may seem strange to some, it is a dish full of flavor and tradition. During the Burns Supper, it is common for diners to recite Burns poems and enjoy a glass of whiskey to accompany the meal. Scotland is also a country where myths and legends are a fundamental part of the national identity. Beyond the famous Loch Ness monster, there are countless stories of fairies, witches, and legendary warriors that remain part of Scottish folklore. For example, the legend of Selkies, mythological beings that inhabit the cold waters of the ocean and can transform into seals, remains a recurring theme in Scottish literature and music. Selkies are often portrayed as tragic figures living between two worlds, that of humans and that of sea creatures. The idea of Selkies symbolizes the duality between land and sea, something very present in the life of the Scots, who have depended on the sea for generations for their livelihood. Another curious aspect is Scotland's connection to ghosts and the paranormal. Scotland, which has more castles than any other country in Europe, is replete with stories of haunted places. Edinburgh Castle, one of Scotland's oldest and most famous castles, is known for its ghostly presences. It is said that the ghost of a piper, who played his bagpipes before disappearing into the castle's dungeons, still haunts the corridors. In the city of Edinburgh, there is also the legend of false burials, when the dead were buried in the streets due to lack of space in the cemeteries. These stories fuel tourists' fascination with the occult and the mysterious, making Edinburgh a popular destination for mystery and paranormal lovers. One of the most prominent celebrations in Scottish culture is Hogmanay, the New Year's Eve celebration, which in Scotland is much more than just a celebration. Hogmanay is a tradition that dates back to the Vikings and is celebrated with a series of very particular rituals. One of the most anticipated moments is the first footing, a custom in which the first person to cross the threshold of a house after midnight must be a blond man, which, according to tradition, brings good luck. During Hogmanay, bonfires are also commonly lit and street parties fill the streets of Edinburgh and other cities with music, dancing, and fireworks. Another distinctive feature of Scotland is the famous kilt garment. Although today it is a symbol of national pride and a traditional garment at celebrations and ceremonies, the kilt was not always part of everyday dress. Originally, in the 16th century, the kilt was a large piece of cloth that was wrapped around the body like a cloak, known as fíle mór. It was from the 19th century onwards that the kilt began to be considered as a more structured garment, with the cloth cut in checks and associated with the Scottish clans. Each clan has its own tartan, and during more formal events, Scottish men wear the kilt with pride, not only as a symbol of their heritage, but as a reminder of their connection to the land and the traditions of their ancestors. Scottish music, with its distinctive sound of the bagpipes, is another of the great jewels of Scottish culture. The bagpipes, although today mainly associated with Scotland, have much older origins and are found in many cultures around the world. However, in Scotland, the bagpipes have achieved an almost sacred status. It is the soul of many ceremonies, both public and private, and its unmistakable sound is capable of evoking a strong sense of nostalgia and pride in the Scots. The Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo, an annual event held at Edinburgh Castle, is one of the largest music and dance performances in the world, where military bands from around the world come together to play in unison, all while the roar of the bagpipes fills the air. Scotland is also famous for its contribution to film and television. While most people associate Scotland with the film Braveheart, other film productions such as Irvine Welsh's Trainspotting or The Outlaw King have shown a more contemporary and diverse view of Scottish life. Scotland is not only a setting for historical or epic films, but also a source of inspiration for modern stories that explore the struggle for identity, the fight against oppression, and the beauty of its landscape. Popular series such as Outlander, based on Diana Gabaldon's novels, have also put Scotland in the international spotlight, highlighting its history, culture, and majestic landscapes. In addition, in the field of science and innovation, Scotland has been the site of important discoveries. One of the best-known achievements is the first cloning of a mammal, the famous Dolly the sheep, carried out at the Roslin Institute in Edinburgh in 1996. This breakthrough changed modern biology forever and placed Scotland at the center of world science. Scotland has also been a pioneer in renewable energy, with much of its islands and coastline dedicated to wind power and sustainable energy research. Finally, soccer and rugby are two national passions that are lived with a unique intensity in Scotland. Although soccer is played all over the world, in Scotland it has a very special meaning, especially in cities like Glasgow, where the two biggest clubs, Celtic and Rangers, have a historic rivalry that has marked not only the sporting, but also the social and political life of the region. Rugby, meanwhile, has an equally strong tradition, and the Scottish rugby team is one of the most competitive in the world, always fighting with grit and determination in international tournaments. Scotland is undoubtedly a country with a unique identity, a fascinating history, and a culture that remains vibrant and dynamic. Whether it is the music, the food, the legends, or the contemporary achievements, Scotland remains a place that, beyond its natural beauty, invites you to discover its soul. Scotland is a place full of magic, history, and culture that continues to fascinate those who have the privilege of discovering its secrets. From the castles that look like something out of a fairy tale to the traditions that endure with strength, this country always has something new to offer. If you have been surprised by everything we have explored in this video and want to continue learning more about the most fascinating corners of the world, we invite you to subscribe to our channel World in Evolution. This way, you won't miss any of our videos full of curious facts, history, culture, and much more. Also, if you are looking for more inspiration and content to help you grow and learn about how to improve your life and your future, we invite you to visit our website selfmatamillionaires.online, where you can find valuable resources to achieve your goals. Join our community and let's keep learning together.